Bonjour mon petit pois. Welcome to part 2 of the VB Drumming Tuition course, Basic Rock Rhythms and Drum Fills. Drum fills are indeed a truly wondrous thing. They are a vast ocean of ideas and concepts, an inspiration of which we can set sail upon to discover new and exciting lands. These little dalliances and bouts of tomfoolery will open the door to new realms of possibilities for you, and are one of the many exciting aspects of drumming that allows you, yes you, to stamp your own style and authority on a piece of music. So what I'm going to be showing you in this section is the very foundations, again the building blocks and the tools that you will need to progress on to more exciting and advanced drum fills, but in their own right are of most import. So without further delay, let us crack on, enjoy yourself, take care, have fun. I'm Ron Burgundy? Not really, I'm Mike von Beddingham, and welcome to Basic Rock Rhythms and Drum Fills. Smooth, sensual and sexy, all the things you need for playing drums, especially when it's bought from a charity shop. So what we are going to be doing is drum fills. We are going to be using a combination of 16th notes and 8th notes. Now, as you remember from when we were talking before, 8th notes are counted as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 16ths, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So I'm going to take you through each exercise, and then we're going to, as we go through, we'll kind of speed up. There'll be less explaining and more playing. So we'll start off with exercise 1. Now here, I've specifically done it so that all the drum beats are exactly the same. There's going to be no changes in them whatsoever. They are all going to be so that you can concentrate just on your drum fills. So in exercise 1, the drum fill will be what? It will be 3E and a 4 and. So now play it at a decent speed, something that's not too slow, so you're going, you'll find it's a lot harder to keep time. So we'll play at a comfortable kind of tempo. I would suggest maybe sort of something like this. Now the good thing about playing 16th notes is that the right hand, as you're leading, remember we are doing right, left on these exercises. The right hand when doing 16th notes in a fill stays at exactly the same tempo as when it's playing 8th notes, because if you watch, for example, are you watching, Dan?
I'm watching.
Good man. Right, so we have you can see when I did the 16th roll, that hand is exactly the same speed, tempo, doesn't change at all. So that's a very good indicator for playing 16th notes. If I did a whole bar of 16th notes, the right hand does not change. So some people, when they start to do drum rolls, might speed up or slow down. This is a good way to keep you anchored and balanced when playing. So that's how you play it, but now I'm going to play it and count at the same time. So the count for the drum fill is 3E and a 4 and. So 16ths, then 8th notes. Exercise 2, the same principle, but we are swapping the drum fill round. So we're having our 8th notes first, then our 16th notes. So we have 3 and, 4E and a. Exercise 3, we are just doing 4/16 notes, 4 E and D. So the drum beat will play up until that point. So we have remember to use right, left sticking pattern. Exercise 4. Now on this one, it's a little bit trickier because we are going to lead in with the left hand on the A of the 3. So we're kind of starting the drum roll prematurely, but not using the right hand as our starting point. So what it will do is this. So the count will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that left hand is almost what we call a ghost note or a ghost stroke, where it's quieter. So therefore the main impact is on that right hand when it comes in on the 4. Otherwise it would sound like this. Which is okay, can be useful. But using the left hand quietly on that first hit gives it a bit more of a nice dynamic feel. Still keeps that pulse of 1, 2, 3, 4 with the right hand. Exercise 5. Now we are going on to using the entire second bar as a drum fill. So again we're using a combination of 8th notes and 16th notes. On this one, it will be 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and. Exercise 6, we are going to start using the toms. Exciting stuff. So, exactly the same hand pattern as before, 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and, but we are bringing the second half of the bar onto the first tom. So we have Exercise 7, we're just changing the pattern here. We're doing 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 E and a. So it's Exercise 8, the same principle. We are changing the second half of the bar, the last bar, onto the first tom. So we're going to get 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 E and a. And that is the end of page 1. Additional. As you can see, we were using strictly right, left sticking patterns. But there's also the other sticking pattern, which is right, left, right, left. Now these are called double strokes, and they give a slightly different sound. For example, doing 16th notes in right, left sounds like this. Doing them as double strokes, right, left. You can hear it gives a different kind of sound. And the reason for using different hand patterns is it allows you to open up the drum kit in different ways, so which we will come to later on. So you can do these exercises as right, left, left, but if you can also do them right, left, right, left, when it's an option, it's good to do that too, because it will build up your double sticking technique, which we will need later on down the line. So for example, instead of doing the But to get used to doing the double sticking, you may have to slow down the drum beat a little bit just to try and get those consistent hits in as best as you can. Page 2. I'm not going to explain too much on here unless I really need to, otherwise you'll all get bored of my voice, which I already am. So a lot of these are using just straightforward 16th notes, just doing different combinations using different drums. So, exercise 1. Exercise 2. Exercise 3. Exercise 4, we are using the snare, the first tom and the second tom. So 1 eander, 2 eander on the snare, 3 eander, 4 eander on the second tom. Exercise 5. Now exercise 6 is a drum roll incorporating all the drums on this drum kit. So I have the snare, first tom, second tom, floor tom. This is one of those drum fills that you will find has been commonly used all throughout the decades in the majority of rock and pop. And it's a kind of old favourite, an old classic if you will. So it goes like this. Now the key to doing this drum roll is you have to go from playing the floor tom to swing right back over onto the hi-hat. Now if you don't do it properly, what will happen is you'll kind of throw yourself over and might miss the hi-hat, or it will seem like a real struggle to get from one to the other. So what you do is as you're playing the last hit with your left hand, your right hand is starting to come over to play your groove again. So if you watch closely, you can see my hand is already crossing over as that last hit is being played. And generally as you speed up and everything, you'll find you'll be able to switch back and forth very easily. Like so, as long as you're already bringing yourself over this way, when the last hit is being played with the left, you'll get back to the hi-hat no problem. Exercise 7, we're doing a combination of 2 different fills. Now in the first fill, we are using snare, first tom, snare, second tom. In the second fill, we're using snare, second tom, snare, floor tom. So generally when you're doing things like this, really kind of work out first, just by a glimpse and kind of working out where you're going to move with your hands before you start playing. Because the problem is when it comes to reading drum fills, they are generally quite close together the way they look, and also it's very easy to play the wrong drum. So just read it, go through and plan out where you know that your hands need to move to. Okay, so exercise 7. Exercise 8. Okay, again we're doing another combination of 2 different fills. This time we are going, the first fill will be snare, first tom, snare, floor tom. And the second fill will be snare, second tom, snare, floor tom. So we are going With this and any of the exercises, obviously the more you play them, the more competent you will become at them. But generally what I find is if you can play an exercise 4 times through without a mistake, that generally means it's lodged itself in the old grey matter and you're going to have no problem remembering it. If you find you get to like 3 times and then make a mistake, don't just kind of leave it at that and then move on. If you can get it 4 times perfectly with no problem, then generally that means you've kind of got the hang of that exercise. Obviously a lot of these are going to be sped up over the periods of time. You want to be able to play them faster, but still cleanly and efficiently as well. You don't want to get faster and then find that your hands can't keep up. So play them at speed where you really can get to grips of what you need to do. Then once you're comfortable with that, then raise the speed up a bit, because you are going to get songs where going isn't going to be fast enough. You may need to be more, especially if you're playing kind of punk or heavy rock or anything like that, you are going to need to be able to build up the speed. But you want to be able to build it up in a way that you're not going to be going and kind of flapping and floundering around like a beach turtle. You've got to be consistent and accurate. If you find that you're struggling at certain speeds, drop it down a little bit until you can get those hand motions, so you can get those hand motions nice and clean. By the way, this is Dan. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan. That's Dan. He's recording all this, which is very kind of him. So that's the end of page 2. See you on page 3.